Hello and welcome to BQ A very good afternoon to all the viewers. Seems to be a dull day of trade overall. There is pressure that is building in today's session. Selling at higher levels is what we are seeing. We've hit a low of 18,483 in intraday trade, and right now we're seeing cuts of almost 0.5%. Pressure coming in on Bank Nifty as well. Cuts of 240 points coming in there, but we've recovered slightly from the day's lowest levels of 43,822 to now trade above those 44,000 levels. So 44,195 is what we're tracking in terms of Bank Nifty. Overall on the Sensex as well, cuts of around 300 points coming in there. So a lot of stock-specific, sector-specific action is what we're seeing. But what's in store from here on? To discuss more, Kunal Rambhia, founder at The Street, joins in. Kunal, good afternoon and welcome to the show.
Very good afternoon, Hiral. Thank you so much for having me on the show.
Always a pleasure. Kunal, overall, if you go to see, the Nifty has maintained a northward journey for almost 4 consecutive sessions. Uh, Good momentum seen from BFSI as well as the FMCG stocks. Now, for today's session, taking the levels that we have been tracking, we are seeing pressure that's building in. Uh, and everyone's actually tracking as to when Nifty will hit a fresh all-time high because we're just a couple of points away from there. What's the sense that you pick up? For how long do you see this kind of resistance?
So, Hiral, if you look at the overall formation on the Nifty chart, I'm talking about the futures level. The upward journey actually started from somewhere of end of March, from the levels of 16,950 to almost 18,600. And this entire rally had only two small minor declines, but the overall formation is still higher top, higher bottom formation, and the trend is really very much strong. So, if I were to look at the Nifty present levels, I consider this to be a buy on decline opportunity because the trend is really very much intact. And if we talk about the all time high on futures, I think we saw the highs of around 19,000 previously. I think that those levels we may see in next 15 to 20 days time if the momentum continues.
Right. So, taking this into consideration, what are the support and resistance levels that you're tracking firstly on Nifty?
So if we talk about the Nifty futures level, presently Nifty future is trading at 18,640. I think 18,550 is a good level to keep in mind from short-term trading perspective. And if someone is approaching the market little positionally, then the good support is at 18,450. I think these are the two levels to watch out for on buy on decline strategy.
Okay. Now, if you have to look at Bank Nifty as well, we did see strong moves in the second half of the trading session yesterday, and the move was close to anticipated target range of around 44,500. Now, from here on, seeing the way the Bank Nifty has moved in today's session as well, what does it look like?
I'm extremely bullish. Just before we started our discussion, in fact, we saw a massive reversal on the Bank Nifty
Correct.
from the extreme lows of 44,000. We are now at 44,275. That's giving me more conviction that we are soon going to witness the levels of 45,000 plus levels. And mind you, this is going to be just a week or 2 weeks time where we can see those highs coming in on chart. So the support level which we are looking on Nifty Bank will be 43,950. A strong support. Keep that in mind. Keep accumulating, say, the Kotak banks and the major banks of the world. I think those levels are very much likely on the higher side.
Right. Kunal, Torrent Pharma, Dixon Technologies, both these counters long positions that have been taken in today's day of trade. What should the strategy be?
See, Torrent Pharma saw a massive jump and it's right now up by 7.5%. But the breakout was at around 1720. In today's session, it gave a breakout with a gap of open itself. And from the highs of the day, it has cooled off a bit. So I'm not very curious to buy on this level. Rather, I would wait for the price to settle down somewhere. The supports to watch out for this counter are 1785. Keep that in mind. And if the counter remains above that level, stop loss being 1785, one can think of accumulating the same. Coming to Dixon Technologies, yes, again, extreme bullish chart and the counter is trading right near to the high of the day. Keep the stop loss of 3,700. Obviously, that's far away from the present level, but looking at the move of today's session, stop losses are going to be little far. So 3,700 can be the stop loss. Accumulate this counter on decline also. 4,200 can be the target on the counter.
Right, so that's Dixon Technologies. A few other pharma names like Aurobindo Pharma as well as Sun Pharma. Both these counters are seeing open interest addition. Clearly, there is a bullish sign coming in with pharma names as well. What's your view?
So, Hiral, I remember we had discussed about the pharma in the last discussion also, and that time Aurobindo was just trading near to 550 kind of levels. And what we can see is right now it's trading at 655 levels. It's making a clear higher top, higher bottom formation. In today's session, it gave a fresh breakout again. So, yes, one can start. I mean, if someone has not bought, one can still buy the counter. Stop loss on this counter will be 625. I think this counter can show us 730, 735 in next 1.5 month time. And if we talk about Sun Pharma, again, not an exception, bounced right from the support level of 925. We are now trading at 975. Amazing counter to buy for. From risk reward perspective, I would place Sun Pharma ahead of Aurobindo Pharma. I think Sun Pharma may show us 1035 to 1040 mark in 1.5 month time again.
Right. Let's look at energy names like Coal India as well as ONGC. Both of these counters are seeing some bit of a short build up in today's session. How are you looking at both of them?
See, again, Coal India, if we talk about the overall formation, the trend is definitely bullish. The counter gave the first breakout near to 225 mark, and from there straight away till 248, 249. So kind of profit booking is very much likely. So for time being, I would not really short this counter because I'm not seeing any encouraging negative formations on the chart. Rather, I would wait for the counter to come near to 230 to 235 mark, and I'll think of accumulating this counter. So not a short position to take at this level. Rather, we'll think of buying on decline. And if I talk about ONGC as a formation, yes, it's clearly bearish formation, and right now going even making the new lows of the day. One can initiate a short. Stop loss on this counter will be 161. I think this counter can show us 145 followed by 140 levels.
Right. Kunal, how are you looking at Vedanta? Because if you see Vedanta futures, they're constantly trading at a discount to the spot prices today. And this is probably to compensate for the dividend payment as well, right? What should the strategy be with the Vedanta according to you then?
If you look at the historical chart from March, April, and this is May, third month, consecutive month, this counter has been in the sideways consolidation, making the zone of between 265 to around 290s. For the derivative trader, I think this is a perfect counter to create this straddle with long on the futures because the overall chart trend is still positive. So buy futures and one can create, the short straddle on this. The stop loss of this strategy can be 260. And if the counter remains here itself for next 15 days, we can keep eating that premium amount, which we call as, the neutral strategy on the chart. So I think this counter may be a perfect candidate for neutral strategy. Once this counter crosses 290 on the higher side, I think the new momentum will begin. But till then, just sideways consolidation.
Right. How are you looking at a Bharti Airtel in trade today? Because the stock has seen some significant up move in today's session.
So, again, Bharti, I actually had shortlisted in today's morning time itself, but again, it came down significantly. If you look at November 2022 high, the high was around 860. I had kept the alert of that level itself. Today, it made a high of 888. And right now, if you can see, it's trading at around 847. So it's a clear cautious sign here. Until this counter closes about 860, one should, stay away from this because of the spike. I think many traders must have got stuck on the higher side also.
Right. How are you looking at a HPCL and BPCL? Strong momentum in the cash market. If you see the OI addition also looks pretty decent in today's session.
HPCL is again on the cards for buying from the present level. The only thing is that from May 2022 so far, HPCL attempted almost 5 times to cross 265 mark, but it was a failure. If you look at the recent days formation, I think on 15th May itself, it made a high of 269, but the closing was again lower. Wait for this counter to close about 265. If it crosses 265, I'll be extremely bullish on HPCL because it's a consolidation breakout. We can place the target of 310 on the same. And if I talk about BPCL, again, sideways consolidation and flag formation on the daily chart, the breakout point to note will be 375. Above 375, I think the targets can be 410 again. But for time being, HPCL and BPCL both are on watch list, but we are just awaiting the breakout.
Right. Kunal, how are you looking at a Britannia as well as a Coforge?
Okay, so if I look at Britannia Industries, extremely sideways consolidation, but the trend is extremely bullish. So if you look at the trend overall in a year, the counter has delivered good returns, but from Feb till now, counter attempted 4 times to cross 4,700 mark. It was a failure again. So be cautious at present levels. If it crosses 4,700 mark on the closing basis, it can give us a new rally from the present level. Otherwise, sideways consolidation is very much likely. And if I talk about Coforge, it's an IT company again, extremely bullish on this. Keep accumulating on decline. For next 3 months, I remain extremely bullish on all IT segments. Coforge is not an exception. Stop loss for the counter will be 4,200 and keep accumulating. I think we can see those 5,000 levels coming very soon.
Right. Kunal, Reliance Industries, heavyweight, which is seeing some bit of a short build up. What's that indicating? Because clearly a lot on the index relies on one of this heavyweight.
So, Reliance is a counter where we initiated our position on 26th of May, and the breakout of that was 2460. From there, it counter went up to 2540, and look at the today's low. It's right at 2461. So, as per technicals, we call it as retesting of the breakout zone. So, if I consider retesting of the breakout zone, I think this is the best counter from the risk reward perspective. One can initiate a buy. Stop loss for time being will be 2440, which is 25 points away from the present level. I think this rally, which we have seen so far, may continue from here also.
Right. So the rally could continue from here on as well, as Kunal's mentioning. Thank you, Kunal, so much for joining us on the show and sharing those, strategies with us on a lot of names that we've already discussed. But clearly, as Kunal was also mentioning, there has been a reversal specifically with Bank Nifty, and the strength is clearly shown there. And you have Nifty as well, which has recovered from the day's lowest levels of 483, and almost an up move of 50 points, 50 odd points coming in there. 18,538 is what we're tracking currently. The advanced decline ratio, however, is favoring the declines pretty much. So that's going to be an interesting factor. Bharti Airtel did see an up move of 7.5%, but has cooled off and now is up around 3.5% in trade. Kotak Mahindra Bank, Britannia, Sun Pharma, Tata Motors are a few of the other gainers, whereas on the losing end, you have an Axis Bank, Reliance Industries, HDFC, Hindalco, as well as ONGC. So it's mainly the metal as well as the energy space that has been dragging markets lower. It was the banks as well, but the banks are now seeing some bit of a recovery that is coming in there. From the banking pack also, if you see the advanced decline ratio, you have around 5 declines coming in and 6 advances on that front. But let's see which are the stocks which are actually pulling the Sensex as well lower, because that's where the entire crux is. Around 300 points lower is what we're tracking in terms of where the Sensex is concerned. And let me just quickly pull up all the names which are contributing to the downtick. So Reliance Industries, 155 point contribution to a fall in terms of Sensex. HDFC Twins, a similar contribution together. Axis Bank and SBI. In fact, SBI is trading ex-dividend in today's session, whereas support coming in from the likes of an Asian Paints, Bharti Airtel, as well as a Kotak Mahindra Bank. So that's with regards to where Sensex goes. But as Kunal was mentioning, the underlying tone is still pretty much positive. There is strength in the markets. Buy on dips is the strategy that majority of the analysts have been recommending. Though we have been hitting resistance levels in terms of where markets go, but the support levels are so strong that there is a bounce back that is coming in on a regular basis. So interesting days to watch out for in the markets. But that's all that we have on this side. Lots more lined up. Stay tuned to BQ Prime for more news and updates.